Have you ever wondered what really happens behind the curtain in politics? Today, we're delving into bombshell allegations that have shaken American politics to its core. Vice President Kamala Harris, once celebrated for her historic rise to power, is now at the center of explosive claims made by James Comer, a key figure in the Republican Party and chairman of the House Oversight Committee. These allegations suggest Harris's ascent was anything but natural. What does this mean for her, for the Democratic Party, and for the upcoming 2024 election? Let's find out. But first, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you never miss out on our latest updates. Kamala Harris's climb to the vice presidency was historic. She is the first woman, the first black woman, and the first South Asian woman to hold the office. Her achievement has been hailed as a reflection of America's diversity and progress. Yet, beneath the surface of this celebration, questions have always lingered. Critics have pointed to her political maneuvering, her alliances, and the circumstances around her rapid rise. Enter James Comer with revelations that have added a layer of deeper intrigue and controversy to her storied political career. On one hand, Harris's rise is an inspiring tale of breaking glass ceilings. On the other, it might be a story of calculated moves and backdoor politics. Comer's allegations suggest that Harris's rise wasn't due to merit or popular support, but a calculated effort by powerful figures within the Democratic establishment. This is not a mere political jab. If these allegations hold any truth, they could undermine the very legitimacy of her vice presidency and shake the foundations of American democracy. The conflict here is stark. Did Harris earn her position through hard work and dedication, or was she placed there by a conspiratorial effort? According to Comer, Harris's path to the vice presidency was paved by key Democratic operatives and donors, ensuring her elevation despite her struggles during the Democratic primaries. Remember how she withdrew early after failing to gain significant traction? Many saw that as the end of her presidential aspirations. Yet, Comer's claims suggest it was just a calculated setback in a larger political chess game. Critics of Harris have often talked about her close relationships with powerful figures in Washington, pointing to these connections as evidence of her political opportunism. Comer's statements seem to support this narrative. Could it be that Harris is more of a political opportunist than a trailblazer? The notion adds fuel to a fire that has long been smoldering. But what if this is true? How deep does this rabbit hole go? And what impact will it have on the upcoming election? Comer's allegations extend beyond Harris's individual actions. They touch on her relationship with President Joe Biden, particularly during the Democratic primaries when Harris sharply criticized Biden on issues of race and busing. Despite this tension, Biden chose her as his running mate. Why? According to Comer, this decision was influenced by powerful external forces who saw Harris as the ideal balance to Biden's candidacy, a figure who could mobilize key demographic groups while maintaining ties to the party's progressive wing. This brings us to another burning question. Was Biden merely a placeholder, a figurehead while the elite prepared Harris for the main stage? Comer's assertions take long-standing conspiracy theories and bring them into a sharper, more alarming focus. With Biden now out of the 2024 race, these theories gain even more traction as we speculate about Harris's future role. Is Harris the next planned leader, or a pawn in a grander scheme? As Harris gears up to face Donald Trump in the 2024 election, these revelations could profoundly impact her campaign. Trump, a master of political controversy, has already hinted at attacking Harris by framing her as an unqualified and illegitimate leader who owes her position to backroom deals rather than the will of the people. The stakes couldn't be higher for Harris. While she has spent her vice presidency advocating for policies on climate change, immigration, and voting rights, these new allegations threaten to overshadow her legislative accomplishments. Instead of discussing her policy initiatives, the focus might shift to questions of integrity, transparency, and qualification. Harris, who has often been criticized for being overly cautious in her political messaging, will now need to confront these allegations head-on if she hopes to gain voters' trust. But how will she do that when even her own party feels divided about her? Harris could be the leader that America needs, or she could be seen as emblematic of everything wrong with the political establishment. These revelations exacerbate divisions within the Democratic Party itself. Harris has long been a polarizing figure, particularly among progressives who feel she hasn't done enough to champion their causes. If Comer's allegations prove even slightly true, it could deepen the rift between the party's progressive and centrist factions, weakening the Democratic Party's chances in the upcoming election. Unity is paramount in this political climate, and any perception of internal discord could be disastrous for their electoral prospects. Think about this. If even a small part of these allegations is true, how does that change your perception of Harris and the Democratic Party? Does it make you question the integrity of the political system itself? With Biden out of the race, the field is now wide open, making Harris the most prominent figure to take the mantle. However, Comer's allegations could embolden other potential candidates within the Democratic Party to challenge her for the nomination. Figures like California Governor Gavin Newsom or even former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton might see this as an opportunity to step in and offer an alternative to a candidate embroiled in controversy. Start questioning. Don't just take Comer's word for it or dismiss Harris entirely. Dig deeper, be informed, engage in discussions. On the Republican side, Comer's claims could serve as a rallying cry for conservatives eager to take back the White House. Donald Trump, who remains a dominant force within the party, has already framed the 2024 election as a battle for the soul of America. By painting Harris as a puppet of the Democratic establishment, Trump can further fuel his narrative of a corrupt, out-of-touch political elite that must be defeated. This framing will resonate with Trump's base, many of whom already view Harris with suspicion and disdain. These allegations against Harris extend beyond her political fortunes and touch on broader questions about trust and accountability in the American political system. If voters begin to believe that their leaders are selected not by the will of the people, but by powerful elites behind closed doors, it could have serious consequences for political participation and public trust. Consider this. What kind of democracy do we live in if our leaders are chosen by a few powerful insiders? It's a disturbing notion, isn't it? If our political system can be manipulated, what does that mean for the future of American democracy? Such revelations could lead to a renewed focus on the need for transparency and reform within the political process. The rise of populism and anti-establishment sentiment in recent years reflects the public's appetite for leaders who claim to represent the will of the people over entrenched political elites. This sentiment has fueled movements on both the right and the left, with figures like Trump and Bernie Sanders tapping into the growing mistrust of the establishment. Harris, who has positioned herself as a champion of progressive policies, now faces the ironic challenge of being framed as an instrument of the very establishment she claims to stand against. If she hopes to emerge as a credible candidate for the presidency, she must not only dispel these allegations, but also offer a compelling and genuine alternative to the conspiracy-driven rhetoric threatening to engulf her candidacy. So where does this leave us? If Harris's rise was indeed orchestrated, what changes should we demand in the political process to prevent such manipulations? Whether or not these allegations are grounded in reality, they highlight valid concerns about the influence of money in politics. Critics have long argued that the outsized influence of wealthy donors and political action committees undermines the democratic process. For Harris to regain trust, she needs to address these concerns directly, particularly among voters who feel disenfranchised by a system they believe is corrupt and rigged against them. Engage in the conversation, demand more transparency, express your concerns through voting and public discourse. As we approach the 2024 election, the fallout from Comer's revelations will likely continue to unfold, shaping the political landscape in unpredictable ways. For Harris, the path forward will be fraught with challenges. She must articulate a clear vision for the future that resonates with a diverse electorate while addressing the specific claims made against her. This will require not only defending her record, but also demonstrating transparency and integrity in the face of adversity. As we close, remember, the stakes are high not just for Harris, but for the entire political system. So, what do you think? Are these just political smears, or is there something more here? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth political analysis. See you next time.